Back to Call of Duty. This one is by DK Dynamite. This is about Black Ops 4 having a 4-year development cycle. And when I saw this video, I was very glad because I hadn't seen anyone make this video yet. Now, I'm actually a little bit curious. I don't really see any comments calling him a shill yet. So let's see what it's about. And I have a feeling on my video, there's going to be comments with me getting called a shill. So let's see. Let's see.
What's going on, everybody? This is DK Dynamite, and tonight I have another episode of my community quote series where we take some wild claims.
Do I think Avalon will be a Warzone map? It's too early to tell yet. Like, I think it was designed as a big map for something, maybe Outbreak, maybe Zombies, I don't know, shill slasher.
Or statements made by the community, and we go ahead and dissect that here within a commentary. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and as a big reminder, there's plenty of brand new article coverage going up on detonated.com for those who want to stay up to date with all things Season 6, and of course,
dude, I feel like making a website would be so much work and so much writing. Like, if you guys watch my videos, like even my story videos, I almost never... No, you know what? I've never written a script for any of my videos. Sometimes I write bullet points, never write a script. And like, I couldn't imagine writing all of the, Jesus.
Black Ops 6. Now, around the 14th of October should be when we end up announcing one of the two really big features coming to the site. I couldn't be more excited to share more information, and I can't wait until we finally do. Appreciate all your patience on that, but today we're going to be taking a look at the statement, which is that Black Ops 6 has had 4 years of development. I talked about this topic a little bit.
We've talked about this
several of my previous videos, but I figured, you know what? I'm still seeing a lot of comments mentioning this, so let's make a full dedicated video about it. Now, my goal here in this video, as with all my other community quote series episodes, is to really just have a rational conversation with you guys. Sometimes I agree with the quote in my title, sometimes I don't, and just want to talk a little bit more about it.
Good idea
I know
for
there's
a
going to be
series.
folks that say I'm doing damage control for COD, or that I'm a paid shill.
There it
By
is.
the way, just to remind people that aren't aware, if I was paid or endorsed in any way to say something positive or anything at all,
the timing on that, he's like, I'm on a shill, and then the thing for the become a member thing popped up. Speaking of which, today is the last day. If you gift 5 subs, you get a free Twitch sub from Twitch. Like, at the exact time being called a shill is hilarious.
I'd have to disclose that with you guys in the title and description of this video, along with
Activision's never paid me, or very few people.
That with
big
the
people
launch
like
of Black
Ninja
Ops
and
6,
stuff, yeah,
even
but
throughout
rare.
the entire year, if there's ever a bug that gets discovered, or if something's missing, or something gets delayed, you're going to see a lot of comments asking what Treyarch has been doing for the last 4 years.
Yes.
Now, it's actually pretty easy if you've been following Call of Duty for a while to know what Treyarch's been working on for the last couple of years, but if somebody doesn't know, then okay, they're just ignorant to it, or weren't aware, they don't watch videos or do research on the internet, and that's fair, right? Not everybody is going to know what I'm about to talk about, but if you're wondering what has Treyarch been working on over the last 4 years, we actually do know, and that's just based off the experience we've all had in-game together.
I hope he does a good job of explaining this, because I don't think a lot of people know this.
So yes, this fall will mark 4 years since the release of Black Ops Cold War, right? That game came out in November of 2020, but since then, Treyarch's been working on a hell of a lot more than just Black Ops 6. So they had to go ahead and ship 6 seasons of Cold War DLC. Now obviously, whenever a game is in its post-launch cycle, I'm sure you don't have every single member of a studio working on those seasons. You already have some folks transitioning to working on that studio's next project. I'm aware of that. But after 6 seasons of Cold War, now Cold War's post-launch was honestly phenomenal. It's actually hard to rank some of these seasons. I mean, I'm gonna get called a Black Ops or Treyarch fanboy in the comments. Don't really care.
How was the post seasons for Cold War?
I had a blast cover.
Like, let's look at this. Added a strafe run, 6v6, 6v6, 2v2, 6v6, remake Duga, Hunt for Adler event. Cool event, not gonna lie. Modern Warfare 3 did better.
Covering that game here on my channel during COVID, and looking at the multiplayer output, there was quite a few maps. I mean, for 6v6, for gunfight, for fire team, combined arms, and then on top of that, you had great events, amazing cosmetics, really good battle passes, and then obviously you had some pretty interesting zombie support, right? With 3 other round-based maps, let alone the Outbreak experience, which also offered 2 main quests in that mode. But something I also hope comes back in Black Ops 6 is the return of post-launch cinematic cutscenes, a beautiful narrative that weaves together the campaign.
Thank you. They better do this. And I know one of the writers at Treyarch. He's a very good writer. I like what he does. I don't know. He hasn't confirmed to me anything about whether or not there will be this, but I need this.
And everything going on within multiplayer and Warzone, that was beautifully done in Cold War. I made sure to compliment Treyarch on that.
Cold War did have the best postseason
story. No doubt in my
story.
mind, Black Ops 6 is going to bring the heat when it comes to some story. You then had Vanguard Zombies, right? And I could probably make a whole video talking about this mode again. I've probably made it several over the last couple of years. Vanguard Zombies was a bit of an unfortunate situation, right? It's unclear how late Treyarch figured out that they were in charge of making a zombies mode for that game, because clearly when that mode came out, it just wasn't finished.
What he's talking about here is he's talking in order about the things after Cold War that Treyarch had to work on. So one example, 1 year, they were working on zombies for Vanguard.
The product that we got, which was this objective round-based Outbreak hybrid experience, could have actually been received well by the community if it just had more time to be cooked. Unfortunately, it didn't, and after 2 maps with that experimental type gameplay system, we then got a return to round-based, and that's also the first time, to my understanding, based on what the press has said, that Treyarch had to work on a new engine that wasn't theirs. This is presumably the Modern Warfare Vanguard engine that was different from Cold War. So we got a return to round base later in that game cycle, leaving us with 4 total experiences in Vanguard Zombies. That's Duran Fung, Terra Maledicta, and then for round base, Shinonuma Reborn and the Archon. Now, without going off on another tangent, I will say the main Easter egg quests were very well designed for those 2 round base maps, and I think overall, if you were a story fanatic, there were still some good takeaways from the narrative that year. Now, I think also based on interviews from Vanguard, it was very clear that, yeah, it wasn't really the A-team or the main zombies crew from Cold War or Treyarch in general that worked on Vanguard Zombies. There were a lot of multiplayer designers and other studio members that worked on that project.
Probably had
Hopefully
to,
that
right?
makes sense, because I'm sure the rest of the Zombies folks are still working on Forsaken, which came out at the start of Season 6, which also was just like under a month from the release of Vanguard. That's crazy to think about, by the way. But apart from what was Vanguard Zombies, Treyarch also worked on the ranked play mode for that game's multiplayer. So again, a new set of tools and a multiplayer on an engine that Treyarch hadn't previously worked with.
So doing ranked play.
And to kind of speed things up a bit with what they have been working on, they also did ranked play for Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer in partnership with Infinity Ward.
They did Vanguard Zombies and ranked play
for Al Mazrah for Warzone 2.0, then Zombies for Modern Warfare 3, which launched amazing, by the way. I think the way the mode launched
didn't launch amazing. I disagree with that, but Modern Warfare Zombies, ranked play for everything, Vanguard Zombies, and they were working on Black Ops 6. Like, let's keep that in mind.
And the way the first season updated that mode was absolutely brilliant. I think everybody out there could probably agree with that.
Cool mode.
It was
cool
just
mode.
unfortunately when Treyarch stepped off of MWZ after around Season 1 to when it became noticeable that the mode was kind of just getting bare minimum every season. Nothing on the same scale and quality as how the mode launched or how the first season worked. But Sledgehammer and other studios like High Moon, Beanox, I think even Infinity Ward, they still clutched up some pretty good gameplay.
Wasn't it Raven?
Missions, the Easter egg rifts, the schematics themselves, and of course the conclusion that we got a couple of months ago, which I actually really enjoyed. Now, they then did ranked play for MW3 multiplayer and ranked resurgence for Fortune's Keep and Rebirth. Think about the amount of projects I just mentioned there. We're looking at a total of like 7 different projects on top of the 6 seasons of Cold War. All of that has been released from Treyarch, and obviously they had help from other studios since the launch of Cold War. That is insane. Thank God.
I know Ravenhead's the campaign, but I wonder how much Treyarch writers work on the campaign. I think, I don't know this, I think basically Treyarch puts together a story, gives it to Raven, and they do all the small details, but some of those small details can be rather big, and I don't think even some people at Treyarch know all of the details from the Raven campaign. So they'll kind of know the overall story and where to push it for the postseason, but I think it's kind of split more than you would think.
Raven was able to come in clutch again for the Black Ops 6 campaign because they nailed it with Cold War, and I think this helped Treyarch a lot with ensuring they could put in enough time into the multiplayer and
looking forward to
modes
this, guys,
within the upcoming Call of Duty. Now, here's the thing, right? Being constructive and critical of the game that you're playing is important when you're respectful, though, and when you can at least have your claims backed up by some research, evidence, or just sympathy for the devs who do indeed go through a lot. They're human beings too, by the way. Now, it sometimes feels like I get some comments or I see some activity on the internet that just comes from people that want Call of Duty to fail. If that's the case, there's no convincing those people.
Every video I put out on my second channel, you guys tell me to watch Blame Truth. Every single one. And I don't know if I can do it. But every single time.
Why a game may have a
reminds
bug,
me of
or
this.
why something may be missing, or why it feels like after a 4-year gap since Cold War, there's
Raven
still an
should
itch
do
that
their
you
own
have
COD
that
game.
isn't being scratched by
I
Black Ops
actually
6.
think they
I mean,
did.
first off, the game hasn't come out yet, so at least play the game in full at launch before really judging it. But yeah, Treyarch since Cold War has been working on omnidirectional movement, which is going to change Call of Duty forever and probably will be in every other non-Treyarch COD as well for the foreseeable future.
Horrible chopper
Treyarch
gunner
also
placement.
just started using the new engine, it seems, following their work on Vanguard, so that was also probably a mission for
Not a
them
great
after
map
just
for it.
finishing all the work they had to do on Cold War, which was on a completely different engine, by the way. Now, it's a waste of time mentioning this because I'm going to have haters regardless, but I love what I do. I love my job. I really enjoy covering the game, so that's why I'm passionate about it, right? I'm not paid to say anything good about the game, but what I could do is talk about what is good about the game, then be respectful with my criticism of what is wrong, which I do every single Friday.
I don't even think you need to be like respectful about your criticism. Like, you can say that something is bullshit and tell them about it. Like, it's when you take a step over it and say that these people are horrible people for what they do and the job that they do. Like, that is where it crosses a line. And like what? You're going to tell people that they're horrible for implementing skill-based matchmaking? Like, they're not a bad person for building a game that people are telling them to make and doing a good job at it. No way he got kicked for inactivity for using the chopper gun. Is that what happened there?
During the podcast and in videos when needed, but ideally, unless it's part of this series, my commentary is usually just informative and provides you with the information one-to-one. I will add my input and my opinion, but when it comes to controversy or me just yapping about a funny topic, I'll save that for the podcast and, of course, this video series. Now, I made an episode of this quote series a couple of weeks back talking about the new rumor that surfaced from Charlie Intel and other media outlets and even some of those data miners that have suggested that apparently Treyarch had to borrow maps from MW3 and use them for what I'd assume is the post-launch, unless some of those maps are also being used for the launch window of Black Ops 6. Apparently, Sledgehammer had more multiplayer content planned for Seasons 5 and 6 that had to get saved for BO6, right? This is an unconfirmed rumor that we'll probably never really know the truth about, but if Treyarch had to do that, here's why I
feel like you'll be able to tell. If there's a Modern Warfare 3 map in Black Ops 6, I feel like you'll be able to tell.
Really mind, right? You're going to say, oh, well, you're defending the fact that they don't have enough maps ready. What were they doing? The thing is, Sledgehammer has definitely clutched a ton and did a great job with multiplayer, especially in MW3. Sledgehammer's a great studio, but Treyarch has had to help out so many other studios with so many other projects that are in games.
Sledgehammer is like Raven, where they just kind of get shoveled everyone else's crap, and then Treyarch, well, you know what? Infinity Ward's the one that's useless. What does Infinity Ward do to help other studios? Like, we just discussed that Treyarch did ranked play, Treyarch did zombies, Treyarch did all of this stuff. And then we talked about how Sledgehammer picked up the slack. They helped with the campaign for Modern Warfare 3. They did the multiplayer this year. They might be helping with Black Ops 6. What does Infinity Ward do? Like, does Infinity Ward help any of the other studios
that aren't theirs? And I know we're kind of in an era right now where every studio is kind of helping each other with every Call of Duty. I totally get that, but with the amount of help Treyarch has provided, is it the worst thing in the world if they partner up with Sledgehammer for the post-launch to ensure that we get a good, healthy amount of 6v6 or even other squad-size multiplayer maps so that we could at least be close to the standard that MW3 recently set with live service support? I also think people forget that Sledgehammer really was only working on multiplayer for the most part throughout MW3's post-launch. Yes, they helped out with zombies, it seems, and I'm sure they dabbled into Warzone a little bit by creating some LTMs, according to some devs that posted publicly about that. But apart from that, look at what Treyarch has to handle for Black Ops 6. And
IW breaks shit and then has other studios fix it. I like that.
You can break it down to multiplayer support post-launch, new zombies, round-based maps, possibly even LTMs, holiday events, challenges,
They help with engine
weaponry, and a
stuff.
bunch of other
They
live
make
service
terrible
content.
CODs. Do
Not
they
to
help with
mention,
engine stuff?
if they have to make the Black Ops 2025 campaign,
This is a good
the
point.
multiplayer or zombies for that title, which again is currently unconfirmed but has been rumored by the media. Raven could probably help out again with that project.
that's a
And I
lot of
wonder if
people.
that's why they went with bringing back Verdansk this year, or excuse me, within 2025, the BO6 cycle, because that could be an easier task than working on a completely new map. And then we have the big Avalon space, which we're going to be seeing in campaign and through multiplayer. If they slap all that together.
So when we were at Treyarch, Tap Trick, you're saying that it's their engine. It's the IW engine. The way that they explain this to us, and I don't know if this is true, but the way that they explained it to us is that every year they've used Modern Warfare 2019 made this new engine. And every year since then, they've kind of added to it, tweaked it. And then this year, they've added a lot, like the new movement and everything like that. And they had to like redo a lot of things. And they're no longer calling it the IW engine because of how much it's changed. So now Treyarch never once said it's now the Treyarch engine. They never once said that. But it's interesting. And I could see, remember how I made that video talking about how Modern Warfare 4 is not looking good? I could see that being the problem because IW had their engine. And now that that engine is completely modified and no longer their engine, maybe they don't know how to use it anymore. And that's like the one thing that they had. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Technically, Avalon is a big Battle Royale Warzone map that could also be saved and could come in clutch when Season 1 rolls around for that futuristic Black Ops title. That's the rumor that I know Insider Gaming and other outlets have suggested. So everything could still work out,
Yeah.
but Treyarch is going to have to deal with quite a bit, it seems, in the next year and a half especially. So what worries me is specifically, though, Black Ops 2025. If that game is real, we know right now the media has reported that Infinity Ward comes back in 2026. And Sledgehammer comes back in 2027. So who does that leave this futuristic Black Ops game to? Probably Treyarch and Raven. But considering Sledgehammer's game is pretty far away, I have confidence that they'll probably come in clutch with the DLC for BO6 and possibly even that Black Ops 7 futuristic game. Look, I'm not trying to fearmonger at all with that rumor. I'm just bringing you guys the information that is currently known by.
So one thing that'll be interesting, like if we compare this to Modern Warfare 3, right? The problem with Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 coming out back to back is they had the same setting. So this year we have two Black Ops games back to back, but it's rumored that one is Gulf War and one is present or futuristic. 2030 is, I think, the year that I heard. Different settings. And that could be very, very key with this.
The community, but the best case scenario is if multiple studios get together to make sure a lot of these projects get shipped out the door on time so that all of that pressure doesn't just fall on Treyarch. Even though I know Treyarch is a massive studio, so is Sledgehammer. These devs have been going through a lot over the last couple of years, and the thing is, if the game isn't for you on October 25th, then so be it. It'll be time to find another game.
That's okay.
You're entitled to your own opinion, right? Just be fair, be patient, be kind to others, and at least try to understand what's going on before rambling and being extremely toxic on the internet, because that is not what the community needs, right? We see enough misinformation all the time, and if you're a content creator, you probably see the most amount of misinfo in the comments and all over social media. So the best thing we can do is at least sit back, take a chill pill, take a look at what's going on, and at least have a rational conversation about the state of the game. But that is about it. This has been DK Dynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on this new episode of my...
I've said it before, I'll say it again. When it comes to Call of Duty, I want you, like, the whole $70 DLC thing, right? Like, let's talk about that. Does my mic though go this far? Okay, let me move over. The whole $70 DLC thing, right? Call of Duty comes out every single year. I want you to think of other franchises that come out every single year. Madden, FIFA, MLB The Show, golf games sometimes. I want you to think about how much those games change year in and year out. Assassin's Creed does not come out every year anymore. They used to, but they don't anymore. 2K. I want you to think about how much those games change year to year. Rosters, couple gameplay elements here or there. updated graphics a little bit, and that is pretty much it. Call of Duty comes out every single year. Normally has a new setting, new maps, new weapons, streaks, modes, zombies, DMZ, Warzone gets updated every single year. There isn't a game, there isn't a series that does that. None. So, you can say that it's a DLC. That is fine. But I hope if you're someone saying that, you are also saying that every Madden game, every FIFA game, every 2K game is a DLC as well. Because I think there's some truth to that. And I think specifically with Modern Warfare 3, there is some truth to that. But let's be honest, a lot more change from Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3 than does from Madden 2023 to 2024. That's all. That's all I got. Let me know what you think. And that is pretty much that.